Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. So today's video, I want to chat about manifestation in general. This manifestation thing can get a little tricky sometimes. It's so easy to see how we put ourselves in situations and how we expect certain situations to last longer than they should, or we don't put enough effort in thinking better or expecting better. We're just like kind of like, well, you know what? I'll roll the dice. I'll leave it in God's hand, or I'll leave it in, his hand or her hand or their hand. It really does say a lot about two things: our self-concept and our awareness of who we are as creators. It doesn't matter if you are a Muslim woman in South Africa or you are a Christian woman in Louisiana. It does not matter. You're still a creator. You still have the power to move people, move things, move situations. I know it's not always easy. Honestly, to ignore 3D or to ignore what's going on in front of your face is like being oblivious to life. You know what I'm saying? It's delusional. It is at times. It is very delusional to trick my mind into believing that this doesn't matter. Trick my mind to believe that, this right here, this circumstance has nothing to do with my creation. It does get tricky at times, but that's where the awareness comes in, your awareness of who you are. But one of the things I want to say is if you have a desire, if you know what you want and you think about what you want, you talk about what you want, but you're betting on it not working out, that honestly is contradicting. And I think that's a lot of the times where in the beginning of my journey where I was. And that's why some of the things took longer, especially for things that seemed far from where I was at the time. We have to make sure that those little thoughts that sneak in our mind are controlled. I've definitely healed my body from aches and pains. I just, being aggressive with it sometimes, some things are not negotiable. When you know your power, some things you're just not going to settle for. One of the other things that I've been working on, that I've been seeing a big difference on, is growing my hair. Like my hair, I want to grow my hair all the way down to the bottom of my back. My hair has not reached that length before. Because back then I had an assumption that, if you don't keep your hair braided or keep your hair in some type of protective style, then your hair is not going to grow, especially being a Black woman. Like that was some of the things that we were taught. But as of September 2021, I decided to just to say affirmations that my hair is so long, my hair grows so fast, my hair is so strong, it grows so fast, my hair is so long and thick, my hair looks exactly the way I want it to look. And my hair has literally grown from my shoulders 2-3 inches past my shoulders. Pretty cool. I ran across this post and it was a Black woman doing her hair, pressing it out, and her hair was really long, longer than mine. And she was saying how Black people are afraid to do things to their hair, especially pressing it out. I can't word for word, I don't know it, but it was basically stop believing that your hair is not strong enough. Our hair is strong. We always think that our hair is better in protective styles. Anyways, I made a comment and I was like, this is so true, because I had an assumption back in the days that my hair breaks off quickly. Black people, we have this saying don't let nobody play in your hair break off, dirty hands, don't brush your hair too much, don't put water in your hair, just a bunch of things. That hair was so scarce. Hair was so scarce in the Black community and so delicate. And of course I made that comment and I read the rest of her comments, and when I say she was dragged, okay? Dragged to the point when I'm just surprised she still have that video up, because I'm talking about people are just going in on that video. It was just extremely interesting to me, because it was old belief versus new belief. You create your reality, regardless of whatever it may look like. I know whatever it may look like. Let me tell you something. Whenever I was in high school, my hair had a certain break off length that I expected it to break off at. I had this assumption that my hair only grows about this long and then it breaks off. It grew fast. My hair will grow fast, but it would, start breaking off when it hit a certain length. And that was just my assumptions. I didn't know how to get my hair longer. Like, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know. I just stopped caring at that point, because when I was younger, I had longer hair. And then as I got older, when I got 12 years old, I started doing my own hair. And of course, that's where you're going to break your hair off. Like, don't do your own hair. You're not supposed to. Like, you're not supposed to put this in it. You're not supposed to do this to it. And you're not supposed to do that to it. Your hair is going to fall off. Your hair is going to break off. Your hair's not, like, all this stuff. All this stuff was going in my head. So every time I would do my hair, I would just, like, hear all the things. And I would think all the things. It was something I've never really corrected, because, as growing up as a child, you kind of feel like, okay, well, these are the rules. This is the facts. So why not believe it? Why not agree with it? But it was pretty cool running across that post, because it really made me feel like, okay, I am, like, growing my hair really long right now. Like, it is happening, and I'm not gonna allow it to go backwards. Like there are times, like, honestly, when I'm pressing my hair out or straightening my hair, or I'm combing my hair, and I might hear a little snap, but I'm like, no, my hair is thick and long and healthy. My hair, doesn't break easily. Like, I try to say so many things to help me stay focused on what I want, regardless of what it looks like. I don't care. I have a goal. My goal is for my hair to be the top of my butt next year in 2023. I want to talk about appearance changes as well, because there are times that, you can also decrease your appearance as well. You can increase it by looking good, and you can also have yourself looking terrible. I know I've been there before. Just the little day-to-day things that we don't really pay attention to, as far as, like, the hair. Like, when you say certain things like, oh, my hairs break off easily, my hair is sensitive, just things like that. Like, change those things, or change things like, I always gain weight when I eat this, or, this always happens to me. Like, there's a lot of things that we say that we really we're not aware of, like, because we're not really aware of our God power. So we just say things based on other people's facts and assumptions that we accept as true. Because, like I said, like, growing up, that was something that was passed on to us. We didn't have that experience. We were passed down to believe those things, and then they showed up as true. Like I said, like, I literally changed my thought process September 2021, and my hair has grown about 2 inches since then. I know that sounds like it's not a lot, but 2 inches on hair growth looks extremely long. Makes a difference. So, especially for me, when I haven't had growth in a minute. But now I'm at a place now where my hair is getting thicker. It's getting longer. It's getting stronger. My older daughter have a picture of my hair, because she was doing my hair the other day. Well, not really doing it, but she was, like, playing in my hair. And she was like, Mom, I have to take a picture of your hair, because this looks like a wig, Mom. Your hair looks like a wig. And I'm like, what are you talking about? She was like, let me take a picture. I seen the picture, and my strands of my hair, which, of course, before I said my affirmations, were really thin. I had thin strands, and I've always wanted my strands to be double. My strands, as of now, are a lot thicker, for sure, than what they used to be. Anyways, I have a picture, and she sent, and I'm just like, oh my God. Like, let me see. I'll probably add it. I'm making sure that I'm always in a place of awareness. Always, 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 always watching my thoughts now more than ever. My goal is to stay on top of my thoughts. Make sure my thoughts are in alignment to my dreams. Because becoming your dream self starts with where your attention is, where your beliefs are, what's coming out of your mouth, what's coming in your thought. Life, the way that is so beautiful, and it shows up to us as a servant. Like, do you want this order still? Do you want this still? Are you still interested in this type of behavior from this person? Do you still believe in this? Do you still want this? Some of it is negative. Some of it is just like, things that are old assumptions that we can change. We don't have to, continue to have. Every morning that I wake up, I always wake up in a place of awareness. Like, now I have, like, a secret secretary in my head, like, okay, affirmation time. Don't forget your affirmations. Don't forget your affirmations. Don't forget to, focus on what you want. Don't forget to meditate. Sometimes I ignore it. Sometimes I just, just want to just relax and just enjoy the moment. And there's nothing wrong with that because, like I said, at the end of the day, you are the creator of your reality. You put a meaning to everything. You don't have to make that mean that you are doing something wrong. You can make it mean like, you know what? You already know your assumptions. You already know your affirmations. Everything is always working out. And you're just right now just at a place of just enjoying the moment. When I wake up in the morning, I do make sure that I'm in alignment to my affirmations in the morning. And throughout the day, I do say my affirmations. But like I said, in the morning time, I don't always start with them all the time. Like laying in the bed. Sometimes I just wake up and I just, think a lot. I think about different things. I like to think about the Bible a lot too, because I feel like the Bible, when it's interpreted the correct way, it opens up a different viewpoint of just creation in general or life in general. And I was writing my affirmations yesterday, and then I started to think about Psalms. I started to think about Proverbs. Those pretty much are the ones that have like Song of Solomon, like all those little poetic type of things. And I started to think, I was like, what if these are affirmations that they found from someone else? You know how, I don't know if anyone else write affirmations like this, but sometimes like when you're at a place of trying to manifest what you want, you're saying it as in present tense. And then I started to think about how a lot of the scriptures are of gratitude. A lot of them are of talking about, things that they want to have or things that they will have or where they are now. Today is a day, if you were watching this video, whatever day it is, I want you to just monitor your thoughts. Like have a little notebook and just when you can catch a thought, write it down, or just think about one person. Write all your thoughts about that person or all your experiences with that person. Or if you can just take a overall general meaning behind that relationship, like how do you view that relationship, and think about how you want to change it. Like I have another success story that I have with my daughter. Like I'm starting to notice certain patterns that I've created in my life that of course I rolled the dice on. Like when we go to that moment of not understanding our awareness, because a lot of the times when we're in situations, it's because we don't know that we can be in better situations. If we've known all our lives, you might trigger here and there, but still your life is going to be different from when you just go into to the world being completely not aware. It's a lot different. Like right now, in the last year that I've been on my God awareness tip, like that's where I am right now. I'm on my God awareness. It's been very interesting for me, like my dreams, just a lot of things, but with my toddler, my 3-year-old toddler, like I end up manifesting her not talking. She went from talking to not talking. She went from knowing her ABCs, her numbers and everything. And it so happened, when I go back to my oldest daughter, she knew how to talk. She was talking from when I remember. I don't know. She been talking for a long time. And I never really had a problem. I remember like when she was really little, like probably like 2 or 3 or 4, just looking at her and thinking like, how does she know so many words I haven't even taught her? I haven't even taught her about a lot of the things like, go run your bath water, or I don't know, just certain things that she just naturally knew. So, and it came from a place of me just naturally assuming she knew. You know what I'm saying? Like naturally assuming that she'll know what I'm talking about. And she did. So with my current baby, like the situation, I know how I created the situation. I know a couple reasons why. Some of the main reasons why was the way things happen as far as like how she was conceived. You have someone that you are connected with, there's attraction, connection between you two, but just so many circumstances are being in the way, right? It was like one of those situations where it was just a lot of circumstance in the way of us. We completely enjoyed each other. We still enjoy each other, but it was just a lot of circumstances in a way. So when she was conceived, I I wasn't happy. I wasn't at a good place. You know, I didn't feel good enough. I didn't feel like, he thought I was good enough. And of course, if you feel that way, it's going to reflect back. So I started to think that maybe he don't think I'm a good mother. I started to think maybe he doesn't want this. Like every thought that I thought, I'm talking about every single thought that I thought, he eventually within a few months started saying those word for word. And I was hurt. I was so hurt. I was triggered. I was hurt. I was emotional. I was just like going through it. You know what I'm saying? And then it started to like reflect back on. And let me tell you something. It was a bold-faced lie. Okay? It was a bold-faced lie because I did all I could, all I can. I do all I can to take care of my children. Honestly, I feel like, in my opinion, I'm a good ass mom, and what makes a good mom is pretty much whatever you consider a good mom would be. But in my opinion, I feel like someone who takes parenting very serious, who love their children, who want the best for their children, want to see them happy, play with them, have fun with them, nurturing, loving, supporting, talking, and all those things I do. And I have 2 girls, so of course, comes with also appearance, doing their hair, and making sure they, you know what I'm saying? It's different. Boys get haircuts, or whatever. Girls, it's like, you gotta get that hair going. And it was just like, I did a lot, but I just didn't feel like I was doing enough. I didn't feel like in his eyes, he didn't think that I was doing enough. So he would reflect that back to me, word for word. And it was just stressful because it was a lie. It wasn't true. It was just like my self-concept about myself, and it wasn't great. Anyways, let me get back to the story. And he started to complain about little things about our child, like how, mind you, it was a 50-50 thing. Like, he had her just as much as I had her. But of course, the way it works is that you're the creator of reality. Whatever you assume someone assumes, they will have to show up that way. Even if it doesn't make sense. Even if it doesn't make sense, they will find a way for it to make sense. And not even just the bad things. There were good times as well. Like when I would be like thinking about things, and then he would say the good things too. But eventually, that right there kind of like made me feel some type of way, like I wasn't doing my job. I just felt like the mother has more responsibility, and that was an assumption that I no longer accept as true. But at the time, it was like mothers have more responsibility. Everything falls on the mothers. Yeah, in somebody else's reality at once upon a time, my reality. But now, I no longer accept that. So what I'm trying to get to is that eventually, I seen a lot of delays in her, and I heard it from conversations. And a year later, after her first birthday, I'm telling you guys, when you're not in a place of awareness of who you are, you can go from 0 to 100 real quick. You know what I'm saying? And 100 don't necessarily have to mean at the top. You know what I'm saying? It could just mean it could be to the extreme. And it got to the point where, everything started to replay back to me, everything people would say about her, not walking on time, and her not talking as much as she should, and just things like that, to the point where I end up creating my child. I started to Google other things, and of course autism popped up. My child, within a few months, went from saying her name, saying her alphabet, saying everything, to saying nothing at all, not knowing her name, not wanting to learn, not wanting to talk, just a bunch of things, whining. When we would ask her questions that we used to ask her, she would cry and just be so sad and all this stuff. I was distraught, okay? As a mother, you just, you don't want your child to grow up like that, because, you want your child to be safe. You want your child to have a stable, safe, protected life where they are aware of who they are, where they are, what they're doing, how to talk to people, how to communicate. That's important. So anyways, she turned 2 in 2020. So the end of that year, I ended up finding Create Your Future, because the reason why I found them is because I knew about Neville back in 2012, and I've used his methods before, and I have his audios and all this stuff, his books, but I wanted to see if anyone was talking about him on YouTube. I've never Googled him on YouTube, so I just kind of wanted to see if anyone is explaining Neville Goddard, because I just, enjoyed his teaching, and I wanted to get out of this rut I was in. I was in a terrible rut. My situation with my SP was terrible. Like I said, I had these terrible assumptions that he started pushing out. I didn't know. I thought he really felt like this. I really thought that everything that I built, everything that it was done. I really felt like our relationship was done, because I could never be with somebody who talked to me like that. Even though I was thinking like that, you get it? Like, I was thinking this way, which really didn't make sense, because it's like, okay, you don't want someone else to say this about you or think this about you, but you're thinking about yourself in that way. Anywho, long story short, in October of 2020, Katie from Create Your Future, she talked about inner conversations. She's the only one that I really know that really focus on inner conversations. I know a lot of people talk about it, but that's like her thing. So I started to think about, what did I want my daughter to say to me? Of course, the number one thing was mama. So I would, throughout the day, I would hear her talk to me, even though she wasn't saying anything. I would have conversations with her. Like, when she's showing me something and she's not saying something, I'm pretending like she's telling me exactly what I want her to say. Anyways, long story short, within 2 weeks, my baby started saying mommy again. Mommy. Everybody was mommy. And literally, sometimes I get really emotional about it, because it's it makes me so happy, because it's man, she's came a long way. No therapy, nothing. She's talking way more than she's talked with nothing. No therapy. All of it is just inner conversations. And also affirmations. I have an affirmation in my notes, my iCloud notes, that everything I want my daughter to say. At the time I wrote that was July 2021. She wasn't really, like I said, when she was 2 years old, 1, 2, beginning of 1 and 2, she was saying her name. I asked her name, she would say her name. So cute. She stopped saying it after her second birthday and stuff. Stopped saying it. And then I know that I should not be crying. I should not be crying on this. I know I shouldn't. But I'm just happy, guys. It's just my own success story. All I did was inner conversations with my child, where she's talking more, and also visualizations of future. Let me tell you. So I had this visual of me being in a Target, and I did this for 2 months. And it wasn't every day. It was just here and there. I would have a visual of some lady, in front of me in the line. And my daughter is in the cart, and I'm in the line in Target, and someone be oh my God, she's so well behaved, and she's so smart for her age. How, just talking to her and stuff like that. That was my visual. That's all I wanted, right? But let me tell you what happened instead. So I went to Target without my daughter. It was with my sister. We went on a little Target run. And so cool. I was in Target. I was in the line, and it was a boy who looked like he was 6 years old. He was in front of me. Everything that he was saying was things that my daughter was saying, and she's 3. Everything. And I was just wow, my daughter talks way better than this boy. He looked like he's 6 years old. Anyways, it was a moment thing. I'm sorry. You guys had to be there. So then it was this little girl behind me. She was probably 4, had the worst temper tantrum. So I was in the middle of a child who was 6 years old, who my daughter talked way better than. And it was a child who was behaving like My daughter has never behaved like that. But do you see what I'm trying to get to? Like, I'm in Target and I got the confirmation that my daughter is well behaved and my child. And she is advanced for her age. You get it? So, like, that was my confirmation that I needed. But of course, I'm still persistent in it. I'm so emotional because I'm just so happy, like, to know, like, I'm the creator of my reality. Like, the fact that I have found everything and I'm changing my life and I'm spreading how people can change their life. It's just like inner conversations, affirmations, assumptions, and beliefs, and all those things. Like, you really can change your life. Of course, you have to understand that it's a journey. Meaning, that doesn't mean that it's going to take long for it to come, but it means like the mindset that you have is a journey that you have to do for the rest of your life. But it comes easier and it comes natural. Like, it's not as hard as it was like when I first started to focus on what I want. You know what I'm saying? Because I have so much evidence that I'm the creator of my reality by just like different things that I see, and the different things that that I'm aware of. I see it. But I wasn't trying to get too personal, but I just wanted to just talk about manifestation in general, how amazing it is that we really do have power. We really do have control. Everything is always working out for us. That's our only job. Our only job is to stand firm, lock it in, focus. That's it. Know what we want, focus on having it, and believing it's true no matter what. But that's pretty cool. Like, honestly, like, that might have been my best manifestation. But of course, SP, I've manifested him in my bills, some bills being paid, money in my wallet, like visualizing money in my wallet, a wad of cash. And within a few days, I have a wad of cash in my purse that's just randomly, like, not for me, the withdrawing money out of my account, but it was like everyone's just giving me cash. Like, it works. It really does work. But it does take you getting out your own way to understand that what we say every day, just the little things, matters. What we think matters. What happens in the dark comes to the light. Happens in the dark. What happens in your mind's eye, what happens in your thoughts shows up right in front of our faces. Through people, it shows up. Because like I said, even about my SP's, thinking everything that I thought, which is pretty funny. He thought whatever I thought, first of all. But one of the things that I used to think is that he thought that I was messing with other people when I wasn't. Why I would think this, I don't know. But when I would say that eventually, like, he started saying those things, like, you messing with other people, I know you messing with other people, and I'm like, no, I'm not. And he'd be like, yes, you are, and then he would bring up evidence, and I would be in this situation where I was like, I could not explain as to why, like, I was in a situation, whether it was like social media, somebody commenting on my stuff, or whatever the case may be, someone in my DMs. It was so weird how I would catch myself up in situations where it wasn't true, but the way his evidence that pushed out would make it true. But like I said, I would give up easily on him because I just didn't want a guy who thought of me that way, which was so funny because it was me thinking those things first that pushed out into him later on, and he would say those things. I'd be like, how come you think something of me that's not true? Like, why? Because I'm thinking this, that you thinking this. That's why. But when we assume things about other people, it may not always be true at first, but it becomes true later on. Why? Because it's us. It's all us. You know what I'm saying? It's like nothing outside of you is for nothing. Everything outside of you is for a reason. It is like we are constantly creating everyone and everything to show up a certain way. And then, like I said, I'm not trying to diagnose anyone. I'm not a doctor. I'm not none of those things. Like, as far as medically going to school, I don't have a doctor's degree, a master's, any of that in medicine. So I'm not trying to treat anyone or anything. If anyone has a child that has, delays and anything like that. But I must say that I did use that method on my child where she's now communicating. I have a whole list of things that I wanted her to say. And as I was saying my affirmations, I didn't do much work outside of myself as far as like forcing her. She would just naturally want to learn. Even now, last night, she was watching this learning video on her own, on her iPad. And it was kind of weird because like these are the shows that I wanted her to watch. And she would just be like, no, I want to watch it. Like, I don't mind Coco Melon. Coco Melon is just a bunch of songs. I want something with dialogue. I want something with communication. I want something with, you know what I'm saying? Those were the things that I wanted because I feel like that comes later. Like Coco Melon is just fun later. Maybe toddler, maybe comes with babies. But I feel like when it's the speech stage, it's time for communication and dialogue. And she didn't want to watch those. But now I've caught her watching them last night on her own, and I thought that was pretty cool. Like, she'll just randomly just, Mommy, what's this? And I'm like, oh, this is red. Good job, Mommy. And she says this. Like, this is her saying these things. So then remind you, like, a year ago, nothing. And, she has her moments. I'm not going to sit here in front. Like, she does have her moments of me not understanding anything she's saying. And then I have to go back in and within and say, no, it's working. I already have too much evidence to go backwards. I'm not going backwards. And she will pull through. I even visualize, my parents saying things and they say them quicker than they say them really quick. Like, you're so smart. You know so much now. You're so smart. You know so much now and all this stuff. And, it happens a lot, and I, very, 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 very proud that I've found, a method that worked for me because, yeah. So all in all, guys, all I'm saying is focus on what you want. Believe you can have it. Even if you don't believe that it's true. Like, I'm telling you, when it came to my child, I literally was stressed the hell out. Okay. Trying to have inner conversations while looking at her and she's not saying anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was hard for me. It was hard for me looking at my child and knowing that, she trying to talk or she wanted to talk and nothing. Like, it was hard. But at the same time, I had to like do it for her. I had to do it for me. I had to do it for us. It was just like a place of like, okay, look, this is what I want. This is what is going to happen. This is how it's going to happen. I have so many success stories that I personally do for myself. I don't mind sharing them. I have so many, but I know they always say don't ever talk about your manifest, what you're trying to manifest. But I agree with that. But I also agree that no one has the power to take anything from me anymore. I used to believe that people did. I used to believe that people could take my man from me. I used to believe that people could do hexes and spells on me. Even in the Christian world, I went to church and I remember there was this pastor from New Orleans who came to congregate with us at church, and all the pastors had to pray for him because he had like some voodoo on him or something, which I was so confused at. I'm like, voodoo? Like, how can a pastor have voodoo on him if they're casting out demons? Like, I was so confused. But hey, the imagination is very powerful. You know what I'm saying? The imagination is very powerful. It's a very powerful thing, and especially for the weak-minded. If you're not in a place of high self-concept and high awareness, you're going to fall flat on your face. But the good thing about it is that when you want a way out, when you want answers, you get them, you find them. All you have to do is just ask for them. Ask for them. You'll get the idea to go onto YouTube, or you'll get the idea to go to Barnes and Nobles to get a book, or you get an idea to go somewhere and someone might share information with you. Like, that's just the way it goes. We are the creators of our reality. Everyone is listening to us. Everyone is listening to our inner conversations. So on that note, I'm going to leave that right there in the video right here. It was very emotional for me, but in a positive way. Don't take anything that, my emotions as negative, because nothing has a meaning until you put one to it. It came from a place of like appreciation, a place of like, I'm so happy that this is true for me. I'm so happy that it's here. I'm so happy that I can look back at that terrible time in my life and be like, you know what? I made it. It's happened for me. But thank you. Like, comment, share, and subscribe.